Clairaudience. What's that all about? Clairaudience is the ability to receive intuitive information through sound, through tone, through words, or even frequencies. For instance, this one. They don't necessarily come through your physical ears, though. So this is the interesting thing about Clair senses. You have your external experience of hearing, and you can hear things that are not there in reality, but feel as though they're outside in the world. And you can have an internal voice, which is separate from your mental voice in your head. So you can hear things internally. But it's all about having clear hearing. Hearing beyond the ordinary range. And it can show up in a voice in your mind that feels different from your own inner voice, your own speaking voice. It may have different accents, different tones, different speed, different temper. Words, phrases, or even whole sentences can arrive fully formed, often with wisdom way beyond what you would normally say or think. That is your Clair sense operating. You might hear music, tones, or bells when there's clearly no local external force operating at the time. And the subtle shift in someone's tone when they're speaking tells you often more than their actual words. So as human beings, we're very good at not saying in language what we are necessarily thinking or feeling. But when you are expressing and emoting, your body, your tone gives it away. It can be quite subtle, and some people are very good at hiding their truth, if that makes sense, for whatever reason, or it can be really obvious. So you don't have to be an expert at this to get it right. So throughout history, mystics and prophets have spoken about hearing the voice of spirit, angels, and guides. Think of Joan of Arc, who claimed she heard saints instructing her and created whole books about the readings that she had been given. Or perhaps the biblical prophets who heard the word of God. In Norse tradition, the god Odin, who was whispering secrets about the runes. Psychologically, we know that people think in auditory form. So your inner dialogue is often very strong. You know, that voice that questions what you're thinking about when you're listening to someone talking, or has an opinion about it. And you may be naturally inclined towards clairaudience if your inner voice is very strong. Cognitive science even recognizes that when we recall conversations, our brain replays those voices. So clairaudience might be a heightened version of this everyday mechanism, using part of our short-term or medium-term memory. Neuroscience has also shown that the auditory cortex, which is right down here at the back, can light up in MRI scans when there is no external sound being present. So that means that your auditory cortex is turned on and operating from an endogenous, inside the brain mechanism, rather than something coming from the outside. And that's why clairaudience can feel so very real to people, because the same pathways as physical hearing are activated in the brain itself, in Wernicke's and Broca's area. So if this is one of your strongest clairs, here's what it can bring. It can bring you direct guidance. Literally, you can hear words that can be even clearer than perhaps visual symbols. And instead of decoding the imagery that you get, you can hear an instruction like, call your sister, or take the left road, don't go that way. You get a heightened sense of listening too. You naturally pick up on nuance in tone, volume, rhythm, pitch, and others may well miss that. So it makes you more empathetic and perceptive when you are speaking to people if you are clairaudient. Many clairaudient people have a fabulous sense of musicality. They're really drawn to music or to use sound as part of their healing modules, for instance. And you may notice that the frequency of a song or a mood really shifts instantly, and you will probably pick that up, whereas others might not. And some people are able to channel wisdom from literally hearing it. They hear teachings, mantras, and even whole lectures, and are able to write them down, transcribe them, often with amazing accuracy. Let me give you some everyday examples. So a song plays on the radio and one lyric really pops out as though it's speaking directly to you and a situation that you might be in. Or you're walking in nature and suddenly you hear a gentle inner voice saying, slow down, breathe, be calm. And it's a direct instruction for you as a reminder of what will help you for your highest good. Or perhaps in a conversation you notice a hesitation or a catch in someone's voice and you instantly know that they're hiding a deep emotion, perhaps sadness or grief, or they're expressing something that they don't necessarily want you to know, or like a weakness in themselves, but you catch it. Or you're writing or creating and phrases just flow into your head without any difficulty whatsoever, and you feel wiser and older, like that information didn't come from you as a person, it came from a higher being, a bigger sense of wisdom. Pretty cool, huh? So how can you test to see if you're clairaudient too? Let's check on your inner voice first of all. This is the simplest one to do. I want you just to sit quietly, breathe gently, tune into your breathing and listen to the sound of your breath as you breathe in and out. And I want you to ask yourself aloud, what do I need to hear right now? And wait. You may notice words and phrases come back to you. And if you hear something gentle or loving or wise, that's likely to be your clairaudience at work. We all have different levels of sound sensitivity. Paying attention during your day is one way to recognize it. Are you highly sensitive to background noise? Does that really put you off, confuse you? Or a particular pitch or sound or music? So I have a beautiful standard poodle and she rarely speaks. But the other day, I was going into a Neolithic barrow in Wiltshire and she didn't know where I'd gone. because it was a slightly more secret entrance. And I was in there for a couple of minutes, and then suddenly there was this panicked barking outside. And she has a particular voice for me when she's lost me, which means, "Mummy, where are you? Where are you?" And so I am attuned to her giving me that "help, help, I've lost you" bark. So we all have sounds. It could be your phone, it could be a school bell, whatever, that we are particularly sensitized to, and that capture our imagination. So noticing that and then expanding that number of sensitivities is one way to increase your clairaudience. And then I want you to think of someone you really love and have compassion for. I want you to ask in your mind, what do I most need to know about them? What do I most need to know about them? Then just listen. Sometimes you get a word, a name or a phrase will come whispering back to you, and it might be in your head or it might be out there. And it often has a different physical tone to your usual speaking thoughts voice. And for those of you who want to go a little bit deeper, there's a really simple silent practice that you can operate. Takes 5 to 10 minutes a day, and you need to practice it regularly because you are going to spend those few minutes in complete silence. No phone, no music, no conversation, no interruptions, just quiet. Listen for that subtle inner voice, not the one that comes up first of all and there's the chattery one, the quiet, subtle, gentle one. As you practice more and more, you will find that you hear that voice more often. It is a skill. You often find that it kind of comes and goes a little bit, but you're able to ask what you need to know for that particular moment in time. Try it. Many people find a rhythmic sound is useful for them when they're developing their clairaudience. That could be using crystal bowls or gongs, for instance, at a sound bath, or rhythmic shamanic drumming. These can also awaken your clairaudient channel in a somewhat noisier way. And as the mind relaxes, you may start to hear words and phrases again woven into the vibration. It's a beautiful thing to experience. And perhaps another way of training your brain, and it works especially at night, is before bed, you pose yourself a question out loud into the space. Something like, what should I focus on tomorrow? Or how can I be tomorrow that is the full expression of myself? And then in the morning, in that half-light sense of awakeness, before you move, listen for the first words that you hear or the sounds in your mind. That is where the answer often lies. Give it a try. So just in closing, clairaudience is not about hearing loud, booming voices from the heavens or from people, although some people do say they hear that, but I wonder sometimes. More often, it's subtle. It's like catching the whisper between the lines of reality. In my own healing practice, I often notice that the right word or a phrase drops in at exactly the right moment for a client, and I'm then able to either tell them that particular word or express it in a way that is useful to them, or even to me, to be honest, so that I can help them more. That's clairaudience in action. It's incredibly useful. It's the ear that's tuned into spirit, has guidance and amazing intuition. It's your inner ear of wisdom. And with practice, it tunes you in to the subtle music of life. It brings you massive amounts of joy and pleasure, and reminds you that guidance is not always seen, but it's often heard in those quiet, subtle moments of life. If you found this short video useful and interesting, please put a comment, like and subscribe, and do follow me. And if you wish to find out more, or you want, during one of my client sessions with myself, you want to have more information about that, then just ask me and I'll talk to you about what I can find out specifically for you. So that's Gayle Palmer at the Living Elements Clinic, where your health is my priority. Take care now.